Hello, it's your girl, Miss T, checking in for yet another promos video. So today I will be talking about misadventures and mistakes made during my 2023 travels. And one of the reasons I thought it was important to shoot this video is because I feel like sometimes we get all the highlights of travel. It's exciting, it's fun, but it's not always seamless. And so I want to share with you some of the things, the horrible things that happened, the inconvenient, unexpected things that happened, just so that you have an idea of some of the imperfections that existed during my trip. So I was thinking of the things that happened as I went along, and I started off in India. My first mishap was in India. There's a high case of femicide. It's not that I'd heard about it, but like when I was planning my trip to India, I didn't actively think about it. And Rishikesh was a vibe. I had a good time, was walking out and about. Then I went to Delhi and I went on a food tour and enjoying the sights of old Delhi, enjoying the food, the flavors, the smell. Okay, not the smells, but walking around and I just feel someone groping my ass. I'm like, what? I look back, right, left, but it's so crowded. I couldn't see who did it. But then the problem with that kind of thing is it just makes you feel insecure. Luckily, there were other people on the tour. So what I did was I was just walking between the other guests, and yeah, but it just made me feel very insecure for the rest of my time in India. And yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And as if that wasn't bad enough, when I was trying to leave, for one reason, which is still a mystery to me over a year and a half later, is they wouldn't let me board my flight to Indonesia. I was supposed to fly out to Bali. They wouldn't let me board. I had to book a flight on the day. Like I always had this vision of, oh, it'll be nice to go to the airport and book a flight to go somewhere. But like if you already paid for a ticket, the inconvenience, the flight left, they even tried to get security to take me out of the airport, and like I don't know where they wanted me to go, but yeah, thankfully I had the resources to be able to book another flight to go where I was supposed to go next. Inconvenient, unplanned, but it happened. Next thing was when my bags eventually showed up in India, guess what? They were soaked. Everything in my bags was absolutely soaked. I had bought spices, I had my clothes, I had books, I had paperwork in there, I had like journals, everything smudged, destroyed. And yeah, that was really annoying. No one to talk to in order to get compensation for that. And also like some of the things, once it's ruined, it's ruined. Like no matter how much money you provide, like, yeah, I couldn't replace it. So that was upsetting and annoying. And then also another thing, like I just had too much stuff. So that was a major mistake. I really overpacked. I'm the person who packed spices. I like to cook, and I packed spices when I was going to India. I know it's very silly, and actually I'll let you know. I'll put a picture to show you how I packed my spices, because at one point like there were just too many. But yeah, don't pack spices when you're going to India. Actually, if you're going to cook, you can even try cooking with local ingredients. Go to the market, go to the supermarket. You usually find what you need, rather than tugging along an extra 3 or 4 kilograms. Like, I won't even go into the detail of some of the nonsense that I packed when I initially started traveling. Next misadventure or mistake was not checking weather conditions when I traveled to Laos. What I know now is March and April are burning season in Southeast Asia. So if you go there, like visibility is low, it's smoky everywhere, and I'm asthmatic, and so that was the worst time for me to be trying to visit Southeast Asia. And like Laos is so nice, it's so beautiful, but yeah, I don't feel like I got the most of it. I did a lot, but like I just don't feel I got the most of it because it was burning season. Like, yeah. So I wouldn't recommend that unless you have no choice. And then because I was doing so much walking during my travels, I'm a hiker. I like to walk. I like to explore on foot. I also think possibly I had the wrong shoes, so I hurt my feet. And first of all, it was apparently I hurt my Achilles tendon, and then found out that I had something fasciitis, but basically my foot, so I had to get like different types of shoes. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, I started getting ingrown toenails, and initially I had no idea what it was. My feet were just swelling, they were passing, all that gruesome stuff. And I was just like, guys, of all the times that things could go wrong with my body, like my body decides when I'm out here trying to enjoy myself, but I'm stubborn. It didn't stop me. I went to get help for my feet from a friend who is a podiatrist in Australia, plug Foot Hub in Sydney. My girl really hooked me up. Excellent clinic, excellent service. I was able to get the treatment, attention, and help that I needed, and had to take it a little bit easier for the next few months. Another mistake was not always asking for prices before I got goods or services. So like I would go to a place and I'm like, oh, I want this, and then the bill comes. I'm like, yo, this is more expensive than I thought or I expected it to be. So yeah, I got caught up with that a few times before I learned my lesson. A misadventure, I would say, or an inconvenience. I was traveling down to Koh Samui, which is a beach in Thailand. I was so excited because I hadn't had like Thai beach vibes for ages. And then I arrive, I get to my villa, and guess what? It starts pouring down. 24 hours, it was tipping it down. And one of the things I learned from that experience is we can't control the weather. Like when you arrive in a place, you just have to accept whatever is available. And that was annoying, but yeah, I had to live with it. Next one was travel burnout. I think that when people do long-term travel, it's something that they need to strongly consider. I'd heard about it, but you know, like sometimes you hear about things and you're like, oh, it will never affect me. I'm strong, I'm big, I'm mighty. Like, but I was doing too much. It wasn't like I was fast traveling, but I think I was doing too much. I wasn't giving myself enough rest days. So after India, I went to like Indonesia. After the party that I was hosting in Bali, my body was just like, nope. I was out for a few days, like I couldn't do anything. So I had to rest for a few days. And then you think I had learned my lesson. I went to Japan and I went to South Korea. I was living my best life. I got to Thailand, excited about all the stuff that I could do in Thailand in a couple of weeks. Again, travel burnout is like, girl, you've been doing too much. And so again, I was knocked out for a while. I wish I could say it's an easy lesson to learn, but like, I think it's something that I need to be conscious of on a regular basis. But when you travel, like allow time to actually rest your body and really relax, take in whatever is around you and that kind of stuff. Because yeah, our bodies are not machines, and so they need to rest. And then I lost my bank card when I was in Thailand as well, and I had no access to cash. It was stressful for a little bit, and then I realized humans are awesome. I I wasn't able to get a new bank card immediately, but like what I managed to do was engage with some locals who I transferred, I mean, not locals, other tourists who I transferred money to, and then they gave me cash. So I was able to get around in that way. But yeah, now I travel with an extra bank card just in case. And then I think I'm sometimes overambitious or lazy, one or the other. When I went to Venice, the plan was to just be there for my girls' event. And then I realized afterwards, actually, it will be good to just stay, take in, not necessarily just content, but just be in Venice for myself. I thought about this before I went to Venice, but like I hadn't actually made the plans to. And so on the last day, I realized like I really had to forego the ticket that I'd bought before and buy a new ticket in order to stay. And then again, because I hadn't planned it enough in advance, the accommodation was a little bit higher than it would have been if I'd planned it well in advance. So not great. So if you think I'm out here being the perfect traveler, like I'm actually not. I make lots and lots of mistakes, and I'm trying, I'm learning, guys. It's a work in progress. I feel like every experience teaches you something different, and it's how do you get over the negative experiences and continue to enjoy your travels. And then this actually is not funny, but well, now it's funny, but I almost got arrested in Singapore. It was one of the scariest days of my entire travel, because basically, as you can imagine, as a solo female traveler, there were a few things that I had picked up around trying to ensure safety as I travel around. And I had defense spray because I was told pepper spray is illegal in a lot of places. Defense spray, I was able to buy that. And when they checked my bags, they were like, girl, this is dangerous, it's prohibited in this country. It let me off because I showed them where I bought the pepper spray. I showed them that I was an accountant, because accountants are not dodgy like that. So they knew I wasn't dodgy. And I had to provide all these details to prove that like I wasn't planning anything sinister with the pepper spray. But like at that moment, I imagined myself in a Singaporean jail, and like all the people who were like, why travel on your own? The world is unsafe. Like I could see them just hearing the news that I had been arrested in Singapore. And like for the silliest of you, okay, I think it's silly, but like, you know what I mean? So thankfully they let me off. I'm sparing about visiting Singapore again. And if I do visit Singapore again, I am carrying a backpack and nothing more, because guys, I actually had no idea. So I think a word of advice is when you travel to places, double check what's allowed and what's prohibited in different countries. Gnomes. A mistake I made at the beginning is I had all these ambitions of working online, traveling, blogging, journaling, doing the most. Like, I think what I learned is that sometimes you have to pick a struggle because I think I found myself overwhelmed. I found myself overwhelmed with all the things that I had told myself that I had to do. So I set expectations on myself to do certain things, which was not helpful. And so, yeah. When I say these are mistakes or misadventures, I didn't have major misadventures. Like, anything else that I can think of. But if I do think of something else, I will put it in the comments below. But I got sunburned. That wasn't putting on enough sunscreen. Yeah, that's a mistake. I forgot. And then I had to recover from all of that. And then what's another thing? I haven't missed a bus, although I've been close. One of the things that I have learned is, I think maybe also the challenge in coming up with misadventures and mistakes is, apart from spending, I didn't make any significantly poor accommodation choices this year. Like, people are actually in the world are actually very friendly and very helpful and will help take you out of sticky situations. I got ill a few times, but you get ill wherever you go. It's just knowing how to take care of yourself. This is not completely like a travel mishap, but it's event planning mishap, because when I was planning the trip to Bali, like I said, I was planning a 40th birthday party, and literally 2 days before I arrived in Bali, these guys tell me that the boat I had booked has actually been cancelled. I'm like, why? They're like, oh, it's gone for servicing. We can give you a different boat, but it wasn't the same spec and all of that. And yeah, that was stressful. But you make do, you adapt. And I think this is one of the things that you have to learn when you travel. Like, things don't always go to plan. I always say to my friends and family, whoever asks, always leave room in your plan for serendipity, because you never know what is going to happen. Have a drink, chill out, have a cup of tea, meet a local, meet another traveler, meet whoever, and just, vibe out. So yeah, that is it for my misadventures and mistakes. And I have one more video before we start an exciting journey. So hang in there, guys. It's gonna get poppin'.